right. So today's practice and the digestive series. I know you guys are excited about this. This always gets everybody excited. So let's frame what we're doing with the digestive series. We are going to be looking at a variety of approaches for the next 3 weeks, sequences and tools and techniques to work with the very core of our body, with our mind and our emotions as they relate to the digestive process, as well as the actual organs of digestion and elimination, right? I want to highlight, just because as soon as we say digestion, we think instantly, it's directly related to our food diet. Often that word is used that way. But the totality from a yogic and Ayurvedic lens is that digestion is the cornerstone of health and healing for all the layers of our being. And that everything we take in, food, thoughts, emotions, relationships, experiences, everything we need to chew on in some way, break down, assimilate what is nutritive, and eliminate that which would be toxic if built up. And science tells us, right, that, and we know this as yogis, but science does show through research that optimal digestion in the gut only happens when we're in the relaxation response, when we feel safe enough to rest and digest. And it is shown that when we feel stressed, literally, energy is shunted from the digestive system, all the systems of longevity, actually, and healing and repair. But as we look at the digestive system, it's shown that, like, even if there's great research that if we are anxious while we eat, we are not pulling from that meal the nutrients that we need, nor are we eliminating very, very well, very optimally. And I want to add to this some of the most interesting research to me lately, and this is, I look at this very deeply in all of my trainings, especially in the restorative teacher trainings, is that the latest neuroscience tells us not only can we not process food when we're in the stress response, fight, flight, or freeze, but when we are stressed, we can't process emotions. We can't process thoughts, trauma that's locked in our body. We can't choose or change our behavior. We can't learn new behaviors. So when we take the time to practice, and both science and yoga agree, that a free-flowing movement of the diaphragm is the heart of not only the nervous system, but digestion and anything we want to process and move and learn. And the breath, one of the things that we can really look at and hone in on is how the breath relates to the vagus nerve. This is a very main nerve, and I'll include a link in your follow-up email that communicates to the brain and the body to shift into a state of calm. So in all of our practices in the next 3 series, we will be using breath awareness practices to not only create more movement of the diaphragm because it massages the digestive organs, but also it initiates calm through the vagus nerve, which will also set our body and mind up to not only feel more at ease, but to begin to process some of maybe the deeper held tension in our body. In yoga, the belly is the emotional center. When the diaphragm moves, when we address digestion and the gut in totality, it doesn't only make us feel good in relationship to actually how our gut physically feels, but it makes us feel more spacious and at ease in the entire experience of our being, psycho-emotionally, physically, spiritually, energetically. So I just want to note, as we practice today, specifically as we look at the breath and the fuller movement of the diaphragm as it goes up on the inhale and it presses down on the inhale and goes up on the exhale, massaging the gut, bringing in oxygen, calming our body. As we look to the belly and this area, this is also where the psoas sits. And what is interesting about the psoas, and as it relates to digestion, is the psoas is behind all the digestive organs. It attaches at the inner groin, and it lines the back of the pelvis to the spine, and all the digestive organs sit in front of it. When we're stressed, in winter, when we're sitting a lot, when we're less mobile, in times of anxiety and tension, the psoas gets contracted. And it leads to not only a feeling of uneasiness in the body and mind, but it literally inhibits our digestion as it shortens and contracts and all the digestive organs are in front of it. It impedes the environment of the physical function of our digestive organs, as well as contributes to a feeling of pain and other symptoms, things like constipation related to our elimination process, but also back pain, as well as other discomforts in our hip and even our breath. So as we look at the psoas today, as we move slowly and create an environment for the psoas to release a little bit, feel more mobile, more supple, it will also lead to a sense of calm and ease. So I have, as we begin, my props at the back of the mat. 2 pillows are stacked on top of my 3 long rectangle folded blankets. You can have 2 or 3. I think I just have an extra. It might be a little helpful. So your choice, especially if you need it for warmth. But basically, you're folding your blanket, fold it in half. So all the fringes are at the bottom, fold it in half again. So all the fringes are at the bottom, and you're getting this long, even stack, as even as you possibly can. If you don't have yoga blankets, just have extra bed pillows today, because we're going to do one pretty deep stretch that I don't ever think I've done with you before. All right, having said that, each of these 3 classes, they'll have less and less intro as we'll go right into the practices for digestion. Now that you got the sort of setup, today we begin with the psoas and the 3-part breath. We just introduced 3-part breath in our meditation class. So if you haven't done that practice, I recommend you do this practice coupled with that one again this week. Beginning in constructive rest, let your knees rest on each other. Your feet are not too far away from your seat. Just if you put your hands by your side and your fingertips down on the ground, your feet would just be a couple of inches away from your fingertips lengthwise and maybe even widthwise. And place your left hand on your belly. Take a moment to feel your whole body on the ground. We'll just start with 1 minute of breathing here, beginning with your awareness in your belly hand. And invite the breath to expand under your hand, like your whole belly was a balloon inflating. And as you feel the exhale leave you, just soften any tension you find in your face, your jaw, your eyes. Again, the belly hand inflates. Softening any tension you find in your face. And 1 more like that. Bringing your right hand to your midsection. With a little extra focus of your right hand, you'll feel the belly fill and then the midsection. And as you exhale, relax your shoulders and your arms a little more on purpose, maybe your chest. Feel the breath fill your bottom hand and your top hand. As you exhale, letting go of tension in your shoulders and arms. So this 3-part breath. Part 1 is the belly. Part 2 is the midsection. One more breath. And taking the bottom hand and bringing it over your chest, the left hand over your chest. Feel the belly fill, then the midsection, then the part 3, the chest. And as you exhale, just allow any tension in your belly, in your hips, your legs to soften a little bit. So you're feeling the breath fill your belly, your midsection, all the way up to your chest. It flows back down, softening your belly, your legs, letting go of any tension in your lower body. One more breath just like that. And be aware of this 3-part breath throughout our whole practice, not only because it helps us stay aware of our breathing pattern, but it allows for a full movement of the diaphragm. It's known to help highly oxygenate the whole system, which not only gives us more energy, but brings more energy throughout our body. So it doesn't only feel like we're lighter and more open, but it helps circulation, delivering energy to our cells. Bringing your hands by your side body will couple the 3-part breath with an arm sweep. As you feel the belly, midsection, and chest fill on your inhale, the arms sweep over your head. And you feel the breath flow down, the arms come back by your side. So just 3 breaths moving your arms. We'll oscillate between being aware of this breath on purpose and then just letting it go and not focusing on it, right? So we'll take pauses to do a little movement and focus on it. And then we'll let the breath be natural. So now you can let go of the focus on the breath, and on your inhale, take the right leg long, the arms overhead. Just letting the breath be as full as possible. On the exhale, squeeze your right thigh to your belly. 3 like this. Inhale, leg long, arms overhead, full breath. As you exhale, maybe out your mouth, squeezing your right thigh to your belly. One more time. Squeeze the thigh to the belly. You can hold the back of the leg, the hamstring, or you can hold the shin and just curl up for a moment. Jaw soft, face soft, pull your navel to your spine and take your left leg long. It's a very active wind expeller. Your left leg can be off the ground. You're reaching it a lot. You're squeezing in the right thigh. You're curling up. Your face is soft though. Instead, you're pulling your belly down. One more breath here. Just roll the head down. Keep lengthening through the left leg. Take one more breath here. And then bring both knees towards the belly. You can either hold the hamstrings or the shins, give it a little hug. And take both heels towards the sky, as straight as the legs are comfortable. Flex the feet. We'll just develop a little bit of heat also here in the body. Interlace your hands behind your head. And just, we're only doing the right leg, a little bit like the wind expeller we just did. As we inhale, reach the heels to the sky. And as you exhale, take the right leg down halfway. Inhale towards the sky. Exhale halfway, lengthen it away from you. Jaw soft, tongue soft, just a little extra heat in the body. Soft head, one more time. Just halfway down. Bring it all the way back up. Both knees to the belly. Give it a squeeze. Feet on the floor, knees bent. Pause here. Take the heel of your hand to the root of your thigh and press your thighs away from you. So this is where doing our own Thai massage to our body. This is directly going to give a little space between your thigh bone and your pelvis. It's as if you're manually stretching your psoas by pressing your thigh bones away from you. And 3-part breath, fill the belly, ribs, chest. And chest, ribs, belly. And the way water fills a glass, it would fill from the bottom all the way to the top. And it would pour out from the top to the bottom. One more breath as you're pressing the heel of your hand into the root of your thigh, like you're pressing your thigh bones towards your toes. Believe it or not, this very subtle stretch is deep for your psoas and gut environment. And your low back will appreciate this more than you could know right now. All right. On the inhale, stretch your arms over your head, left leg long. Exhale, knee to belly, curl up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to belly, curl. One more just like this. Big curl, pause, hold it. You can hold behind the hamstring, behind the leg, or around the shin as you take the right leg long, just an inch or two off the ground. Reach to the right heel a lot, curling up. Your navel pulls down to the ground. Jaw soft. You might want to do a little lion's breath, release any jaw tension. Maybe stick your tongue out on your exhale, opening your mouth. Bring the head down. A lot of our digestive process, well, all of it begins in the mouth. You can bring both knees to the belly, and all sorts of mouth and jaw conditions, tension in the face and jaw, have a lot to do with how we feel, how we hold, how we digest. Also, not only our food, but our emotions, and what we want to say. Heels to sky, any amount of straight, just opening up the back of the leg, stretching through the legs. Interlace your hands behind your head. As you feel the in-breath, reach your heels higher to the sky, and exhale, just the left leg just halfway down, pulling your belly to your back, getting a little active ab work as you inhale the leg up. As you exhale, leg halfway down without adding tension to your jaw. Can you work through the belly, the pelvis, without adding tension in your face? One more time. Legs to the sky. Press the feet together. Bring your heels together, your feet together, and take a little Baddha Konasana, butterfly on your back. You can reach for your shins. Press your feet together as much as you can. And we have one more here. As you press your feet together, you can bring it down so you're in Baddha Konasana on the ground, butterfly shape. Interlace your hands behind your head. And we'll do the 3-part breath in butterfly. Imagine the belly, the ribs, the chest filling on the inhale. Back down on the exhale. And your whole torso being bathed in this liquid solvent, this softening agent, this life-giving force of your breath. Bathing the whole pelvis from the groins to the breastbone, lots of free-flowing breath, big movement of your diaphragm, massaging your abdominal organs and your heart and lungs. One more breath. And we'll pump into the belly, taking an inhale here. And as you exhale, pull your belly down, bring your knees together, your elbows together, curling in. And as you inhale, come back to open. As you exhale, bring your knees towards each other, your elbows towards each other. Any amount you may want to curl your knees and elbows towards each other. Any amount. As you inhale, slowly unfurl. 3 more at the pace of the breath. You don't have to curl all the way up. You can just bring elbows and knees together. If you wish, curl up a little. If you wish, curl up a lot. Next time you exhale, pause and do curl up. Hold your shins one more time. Rock and roll however feels good to you. And I invite you to rock and roll to sitting if you wish, or to roll to your side. Or my favorite way, you guys probably know it, press your thighs into your hands and slowly rock to low boat. And then all the way to sitting. Sliding into the middle of your mat, your feet as wide as your mat. Take your hands behind your thighs and lengthen from seat to crown for a few breaths here. We'll do seated cat-cow in this position, just to start to move through the full length of the spine as you feel the inhale come to you, lifting the chest. And as you feel the exhale leave, gather your belly back. 3 or 4 rocks through your pelvis. Big exhale. One more breath. And slowly coming to neutral, bringing your hands behind you, pressing your feet into the ground, your hands into the ground, lift your hips up. Yogi's choice, you could look forward, you could look to the sky. But if you feel any pressure on your neck, just release it back. Don't let it dangle back. If you wish, you could pump your belly to your back on the next few breaths. If that's your practice, it's a rapid exhale, getting a little bit more heat. You're just pulling your belly to your spine as you exhale. We'll do a few more rounds, or you can breathe natural. Slowly bring it down. Soles of the feet together, come to Baddha Konasana, having had lifted the heat, the energy. Taking a wide Baddha Konasana, the soles of the feet not too close to you. We'll do the 3-part breath 3 times. Filling the belly, the ribs, the chest. flowing back down. Again, warm the environment, freed the diaphragm. We'll add a little bit of twists and side lean to prepare us for an even deeper psoas stretch. So shifting the weight to the feet, pressing yourself forward onto your feet so we can come into a forward fold. Having your blocks under your hands, your feet as wide as the hips. You can begin by opening up your feet so that the toes point out a little bit, and we'll oscillate, we'll lower into a little squat. You could inhale in your squat as low as you'd like to go. And as you exhale, pull your belly to your spine, straighten your legs, forward fold. 3 like this, inhale to lower. You can imagine the 3-part breath even as you move if you wish. A few more. Pull the belly to the spine deeply. One more time. Heel toeing the feet towards parallel. Slowly rolling through the spine to come up. Rolling your shoulders up and back. Landing in your feet. Pause. Setting up for a side lean standing. Begin with your hands on your hips. And we're going to take the right leg behind the left. So go slow so you keep your balance. It steps so you're not on a balance beam, but you're really crossing your legs, spreading your feet. Squeeze your thighs towards each other. As you spread your feet on the ground, you can leave your hands on your hips till you get a little balanced. Then sweeping the arms up, palms press above the head for a moment. If you feel too crossed, just take your time. You don't have to be as deeply crossed if that feels awkward or challenges your balance. And if this challenges your balance too much, you can just keep your feet together and you don't need to cross. Taking hold of the left wrist. We're going to do both sides. So begin by taking hold of the left wrist. I have my left leg back and I'm holding my left wrist. Get taller between your left leg and your left arm. As you lean right, slowly, just a little bit. It's not a big lean. So that you want to feel this from your left inner groin along the left side of your spine to your breastbone as you reach up through your fingertips and press down through your heel. Letting this soak in and saturate. Slowly come up. And we're going to stay with this leg position as we do it in the other direction. Take a little counter twist, counter side lean. And release. Slowly separate the legs. Pause, notice your breath. And do the other side. Again, a simple stretch, but go slow and let it really sink in like you are saturating the muscles and the tissues. Right leg comes back as much as you like. You can cross. Doesn't have to be so big. Big cross or little cross is up to you. Press your inner thighs together. Bring your palms to touch. Keep your eyes open and focused on a point, especially if you feel your balance is challenged. Uncross your legs if this challenges your balance too much. Hold your right wrist. Lengthen through your right leg and through your right arm as you bring your awareness from your right groin to your breastbone. A little longer, let your breath expand the whole left side body. Oh, right side body. I'm confusing you now, sorry. I don't know what I'm talking about. The other side body. And come up and switch. So the feet stay the same. You're just doing a little counter twist, counter side lean. And slowly release the arms, undo the legs, and come to neutral, pause. Notice your breath. Do 1 3-part breath. Feel it fill the belly, the ribs, the chest. The eyes open. Take a little handstand on the ceiling. As you exhale, pull your belly back a lot. As you inhale, look up with your collarbones, press your arms up. As you exhale, pull your belly a lot. Bring your hands by your side. Inhale, sweep up, look up with your collarbones, teeny back bend. Exhale, pull your belly to your spine a lot, your navel back, hands by your side. So we'll do this a little bigger if you wish. As you inhale, stretch up, look up. Exhale, belly to spine, hands by side. 3 more with your breath. Oof. Big belly pull to back. 1 more time. And slowly bend your knees, bring your hands to your blocks. And we'll take a step back with the right leg. To begin, just slide your blocks under your armpits. Take a long reach through your back leg and your crown. And slowly let your right knee land on the ground. Let your heart curl up. As you exhale, pull your belly to your spine, straighten the back leg, get longer between your heel and crown. As you inhale, let your knee tap down, your collarbones look up. 1 more time, we're just flirting with the psoas here. And last one. Pause here, your back leg's off the ground. You're going to bring your right hand to your block and your left hand to your thigh now and roll through the spine for a twist. Option to bring your knee to the ground, that's optional. Option to bring your elbow to your front thigh and your hands together. So take your time. You don't have to come into prayer twist. You can have your hand on block and your knee up. You can have your knee down. 3rd option, you can be in prayer twist, but take 3 breaths and imagine the 3-part breath. It's challenged here, so you're not going to be able to feel it as full, but just imagine the fullness of your breath. And on the exhale, at the very bottom of the breath, pull your belly to your spine even more, wring it out. 1 more breath like that. And release the hands. 2 hands, 1 hand on each block. Point your back toes. Let your front knee come right over your front toes and pause in a low lunge. Jaw soft, tongue soft. Press down through the top of your back foot, down through your shin. Take a 3-part breath with awareness from belly to ribs to collarbones. And then putting your weight in your hands on your blocks, lift your back leg, forward step. Sit down deeply and rise up. Take a little handstand on the ceiling. And exhale, hands back to blocks. Step your left leg back. Getting longer between your heel and crown. Your blocks are right under your armpits. And as you inhale, let your knee tap down, your collarbones look up. As you exhale, pull your navel to your back a lot, length between heel and crown, flowing with your breath. Feel the length of your breath and the fullness. Moving at the pace of your breath helps initiate the relaxation response. Staying with your breath as it's happening is actually good for digestion. It's one of the reasons why we get so rhythmic with our breath. In yoga, one more time. And then lifting the knee for the twist. Start with the knee lifted, the right hand on the thigh. So this is variation number 1, giving yourself a lot of space to roll through. Variation number 2, you can try it with the knee down. And variation number 3, you can come into prayer twist. And none of the variations are wrong or right, or better or worse, or more advanced or less advanced. You find the one that works for you so that you can feel the fullness of your breath. And you can be aware of drawing the belly to the spine on the exhale. 2 more full breaths. Wringing out deep tension, not only in the gut, in the psoas, along the spine, but helping to challenge the diaphragm so it's freed afterwards. And release the twist. Point your toe back. Press the top of your foot into the ground as you let your front knee come over your toes. Feel your 3-part breath. One more. And slowly step back to downward dog. You can use your blocks if you wish. Press back. We'll meet on our belly. And what I've been looking forward to all class is this stretch. It's like everything has been a prep for these last few stretches. So we'll begin in Sphinx pose for a moment. Just letting the pelvis be heavy on the ground. The forearms, shoulder distances apart. And then we're going to take the right arm long on the ground, bring our right cheek on it, and the left hand right by the heart. And we're going to keep our feet as wide as our mat as we roll ourselves onto the right hip. So we're on our side body. Keep the feet as wide as the mat. Wiggle yourself up onto your side body. Your right ear is on your right arm. You're in this little side lean and reach through your heels a lot. Reach through your heels a lot. And then if you can balance like this, take your left arm over your head to meet your right. Reach through both arms a lot. Reach through both legs a lot. You could hold your left hand and stretch it nice and long. And if this feels okay to you and you want to go a little deeper, what you could do is interlace your hands like a pillow behind your head and slowly roll onto your upper back a little bit. So you're looking at the sky and you need to reach through your legs a lot. This is a really deep twist in your upper spine. Think of the mouth, the jaw, the shoulders, the heart, the whole top of the digestive tract. If you wish, you can just rest your right hand on your head on your right hand and move your left arm around. Maybe you want to stretch your left arm all the way out to the left and get a little chest stretch. Keep reaching through the left leg a lot. Gather your belly, slowly roll yourself back. Come back to Sphinx. Let your pelvis release into the ground. Let your spine realign. So this is the top of the diaphragm that we're stretching, the top of the psoas and the diaphragm. The psoas goes from the inner groins all the way up to the spine where the diaphragm is. It's the longest muscle in the body that attaches the lower leg to the spine. And we often just think of the part of the psoas that is in the groin or the belly, but the psoas goes all the way up the midsection. Almost think of it as behind the breastbone in a way. So that as you come to the side lean on the other side, bringing your left ear to your left arm, rolling up on your left hip in the side lean, you can reach through your right leg a lot. Your feet are as wide as your mat. You're stretching through your heels. So you get a little bit of this sort of side lean feeling. And then to turn it into a twist, you can sort of slowly wiggle your way onto the left shoulder a little bit at a time, This is a lot on the back, so a little bit at a time. Where you might look up to the sky just a little bit. Where you might just stretch your right arm above your head and you reach. Where you might reach it out to the side. And think of stretching from the midsection through the collarbones up. And when you feel satisfied, gather your belly, slowly roll it back. Come back to Sphinx one more time. Imagine in Sphinx that your pelvis was so heavy and the only way you could move forward, you couldn't use anything from your navel, pelvis, and legs, but you could slide yourself forward with your forearms. And you're doing that to sort of like lengthen the front of your spine. Like you're opening space in your gut by pulling yourself forward. And when you're satisfied, press back to child's pose. I don't know about you, but I have all sorts of gurgling in my belly. Okay. So this is a slow time to curl up and pause. Placing your left hand on your belly. Notice the breath here. The midsection. Right hand on the midsection. Feel the breath move from belly to midsection and back down. Then moving left hand to heart. Feel it flow from belly to midsection to chest. And both hands over the heart. A little offering, a little sentiment from A. Jacobs. The wish from her. You deserve nourishment at all levels. Body, mind, heart, soul. You deserve nourishment at all levels. Body, mind, heart, soul. Bring to mind something that nourishes you, that you have gratitude for in your body, mind, heart, or soul. Maybe it's a place or a person or a pet or a particular food that you love to prepare or drink or practice. And as you bring gratitude towards this nourishment, imagine it moving more nourishment through your whole body. And eyes float open. All right, so for our restorative, I'm gonna do a restorative practice that is not super common for me here. So I want to set it up slow so that you take your time and see the options. And you can come directly to Shavasana if this option does not feel like something you might want to take. It's a little bit more of a yin or a little more of an active restorative. It might be a little more of the Iyengar style in a way. And then I'll just do a little bit of this practice. It'll be about 5 minutes, and then we'll spend the last 5 minutes in Shavasana. If you want a longer Shavasana, just stay longer, or if you want to skip this one altogether, feel free. This is a hero's pose stretch. So we're going to be feeling sensation up the front of the thigh and the gut and psoas. I stacked 3 blankets with 2 pillows on top of it because this is big for me. Some of you may do this regularly. And if you don't want to lay back, the other suggestion for you would be to come into Virasana, and you can just pause in Virasana and do the practice there and allow that to be the expression on blocks. You could do 2 blocks, you could do 1 block. If you're practicing with me here, actually, the way I'm going to demonstrate it is I'm going to place my 2 pillows at the end so that I can sit on my blankets and lean back on my pillows. You could also sit on a block. You could sit on the ground if you don't need the height. And I'll show you, you can choose to do this without the legs like this. You could do, I'll show you first. You could do bent knees and just take a big chest opener. Maybe you'll want to let one leg fall for the duration that we do one side, and you can let the other leg fall out into half Baddha Konasana while we do the other side. So that will be a good option too. So just half Baddha Konasana instead of half Virasana. So I'm going to place my pillows back. I'm going to sit up on my blanket, and I'm going to bring just my left leg into half Virasana. Again, you could just do half Baddha Konasana. I'm going to snuggle my pillows right behind me. I'm going to start with my leg bent just to lay myself down. Get up as high as you need. The higher you go, the less sensation you'll feel. So if you need to prop yourself up higher, do that. If you have knee injuries or back injuries, I would choose any of the other variations I already described. Letting your other leg go long. And we'll just take about 2 minutes here. You could let your other leg be bent, like constructive rest, or long, whichever feels better for you. You can have your hands by your side. If you want to do this as more of an active stretch, you can reach your arms over your head. It's a supported deep stretch. I can't really call it a restorative pose. It's a supported deep stretch. Again, the other option is not having your leg in half Virasana, half hero, but instead having it in half butterfly, half cobbler's pose. And let's do 5 3-part breaths on this side. Really allowing the fullness of your diaphragmatic movement. You might imagine your breath is a warm light, a warm liquid washing through your whole torso. 3 parts. And then slowly, when you're ready, you'll gather your belly to your back a lot. You'll rebend your other leg. You can sort of use your elbows, tuck your chin to your chest, You'll slowly press and switching legs either to half butterfly or half virasana. Slowly lowering yourself down. Again, this is a deep stretch. 1 to 3 minutes in this pose is beautiful and effective. You don't have to stay that long. The concentration is, can you breathe deeply? Can you still relax even as you stretch? If you create more tension in the pose, it's not helpful. So pick a variation and a amount of support that allows you to relax in the shape and not resist it or tense against it. If you do bring your arms over your head, reach through them actively, and your long leg on the ground, you could stretch through it gently. So there's a bit of activity stretching. You might feel this up the front of your thigh. You might feel it through your gut. You might feel it in your mid-back, where the psoas connects to the spine. Take 5 3-part breaths on your own. Gathering your belly to your spine a lot. Slowly bend your knee, releasing to one side, releasing your legs. Taking your time to acclimate. When you become ready, I'm just going to turn the whole thing to the side for a nice high support underneath my legs. The legs are up a little bit. This variation for Shavasana, it's almost like your legs are up on an ottoman or a chair. You could put your heels on blocks. You could do regular Shavasana, or this legs up variation, letting your pelvis settle deeply, letting your thigh bones drop back into your body. Small version of legs up. To now let the psoas soften and drop into your body, into your back. Making room for your digestive organs to spread in your pelvis. Making room for your breath to wash through your whole belly. Placing your hands on your belly. Three breaths, feeling the breath wash through your pelvis, your belly, softening all the organs, releasing any deeper tension. Warm liquid breath washing through your belly. Wrapping your hands around your mid ribs or placing your hands on your midsection. Feel the warm liquid breath softening any resistance or any last holding or stickiness in your midsection. Effortless legs, effortless thighs, soft belly, ribs floating on the breath. Place one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, and feel the breath flowing all the way up to the chest. And all the way back down. Full rippling breath, as if the shoreline is your collarbones and the ocean of your breath rises all the way under your collarbones. And back down. As you rest for a minute on your own, letting your breath flow naturally, you might just again imagine the wish you deserve nourishment at all levels: body, mind, heart, and soul. To help you absorb that nourishment, bring to mind whatever you might have gratitude for that nourishes you on any level. Softening again the jaw, face, the lips, the mouth, the tongue, the neck and throat, the whole torso, whole pathway of digestion from gut to mouth and mouth to gut. To see it more warm and open. All the layers and cells of your body being nourished by your fluid, warm breath. You can linger here as long as you wish. You could close in your relaxation with one hand on belly, one hand on heart. You could slowly come to a finishing seat if you wish. Taking a moment to have one hand on belly, one hand on heart, however you are spending these last few minutes together, wherever you're lingering. Our breath, our warm liquid breath could not only calm us and ease us, but it acts as a solvent. It helps dissolve what is hard and stuck and inflexible, making space, warmth, ease. The process, everything we take in. Just giving a little thanks, a little gratitude to your practice, to your breath, to your psoas, which is an amazing muscle that not only keeps you safe, but when it's supple and flowing, really aids in digestion, aids in helping to open the environment of the gut. It's not only known as the stress muscle, it's also nicknamed the love muscle, this muscle of the soul. So send a little breath and a little gratitude to this incredible dynamic muscle that is at the heart of our nervous system as much as it's at the heart of our body. And thank you so much for practicing. Thank you, Deanna. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Kristen. May you practice this again with the meditation, with the playlist as I correct the link for it. And I just wanted to add that as we move forward to the next two practices, we'll come right to the mat. We'll have just we won't need to orient and open. So you'll be prepared for that. And they'll all couple well together, and you'll get to keep these practices for quite a bit of time. So I think they will be just what January needs medicinally. I'm here if you have any questions, if you want to connect or chat via email, social media, all the ways. And look for some extra info in the follow-up email too. We have stuff to complement this session, as well as other things that you'll want to have at your fingertips. So namaste, everybody. Thank you, Skyla. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Patricia, Celeste. Is that you? Hi, Jen. Nice to see you. Thank you, Christine. Bye, Mariana. Stu, have a beautiful day. Bye, Carol. Bye, Katrina. Namaste, everybody. Bye, Celeste. Bye, Eloise. Thank you. See you guys next week.